Well, hello and good morning. Welcome back to another video. As you can tell, it's real early in the morning and it's still dark out. Not even really right now the first hint of light. So what are we doing this morning? We are out in search of something we haven't been to or photographed ever. We're headed over into Ohio to an area near Batavia, and we are in search of Stone Lick Covered Bridge. Don't know a lot about it. I've never been there, just know it exists. Hopefully we can find it. So we're gonna take the next 40 minutes or so and drive over there and see if we can locate it and get there in time to take some early morning images. So sit back, relax, and come along and let's see what we can find. So hold on and let's enjoy driving over. Thanks, everybody. All right, so we made it to the bridge. All right, and here it is over my shoulder. All right. Now, one of the first things I do when I get out to a place like this is try to assess what kind of compositions I can get, and try to figure out, where I can actually shoot from. And a lot of times, especially when you're doing these old bridges, there's a lot of private property and a lot of, areas where you can't go. So you look here on the other side, you can't see it, but it's all marked, private property, do not park, yada, yada, yada. And then you look here, you can see there's a house right here. All right, you see where my Jeep's at. You can see they have, set up over here along the river. So this is all private property as well. So I pulled right off the side of the road there. Hopefully we're okay. All right, and I'll shoot somewhere right in here, try to capture this here. All right. Now, one of the things we're doing this morning, which I forgot to mention in the intro, was just that we're out here with my new, to me, 12 to 40 F2.8. We're going to give it a shot and try it. So thanks for coming along. Let's get set up. All right, so we're set up here. All right, we are in autofocus, not manual focus. All right, the bridge, we're on the left-hand side. I'm going to shoot left-hand side going in. We'll go across the road, shoot right-hand side, just to get two different perspectives. But that's really about all you can do. Now, this is another good spot that in peak color would be really nice. All right, but this morning, it's not. Car coming through. A lot of cars on this road, which I didn't expect, but that's all right. One of the things we're going to do here is we're going to shoot with our graduated ND to try to help with some of the sky, because I'm trying to expose to the right. I'll try to get as much detail in these shadows that we have. So that's not uncommon. All right. Let's try this again. It didn't seem to. says it's on, so. Gonna go medium. Gonna start all over again. For some reason that didn't come out the way I wanted it to, and I don't know why. So, I mean, we're not shooting, doing anything crazy. Alright, let's take and do the same thing. Again, when we overexpose to the right, what we're trying to do is get as much of the detail in the shadows as we can without overexposing anything in the sky or anywhere else. So that's, you know, the main purpose here of, you know, exposing to the right. Alright, so now let's try this one more time. There we go. That might help us a little bit. Looks like it has. Got about a 1 second exposure doing that and using graduated ND. We'll try it again. Alright. Not that there's a ton of shadows here, but there are. Alright, so we want to make sure we do everything we can to get them without messing up. Again, a lot of traffic in here. Most of the covered bridges I go to, we don't run into that. All right, so now let's also, while we're at this, see if we can do a high res shot as well. So we'll shoot, since we're on a tripod, we'll take 80 megapixels. And it'll build up our image for us while we're doing that. Takes a little bit of time to do that, but we're definitely getting that. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit this time. A little bit different. Still overexposing a little bit to the right. Not really anything in the sky, not really any color, nothing really fancy going on here with the stream because it's really not flowing any, so there's not really a lot you can capture. You know, unfortunately, this is just another one of those mornings where that happens. There's not really a lot you can do about it. All right, so now what we'll do here is we will move to the other side of the road and see if we can set up there. All right, so now we're over on the right-hand side. All right, and we're you know, still taking high-res images, lights coming up, you know, still trying to expose to the right, but I'm finding I have to, you know, drop down a little bit to keep from going too high. I mean, with the light where it is right now, I mean, I'm, you know, shutter speed now is 1/4 of a second, and, you know, I'm still shooting at f8, but it's allowing me to, you know, to capture the scene. It does take a few seconds to build, you know, the high-res image. Remember, in a high-res image, we're taking 4 individual shots, stacking it together, and merging them into one 80 megapixel shot. All right. You know, so one thing I noticed this morning, more so than I normally see, all right, is that color's kind of muted. I'm not sure if that has anything to do with, you know, the light, or if that has something to do with the camera. It's going to be really hard to get light down in here. Sun's due to come up right about now. But, you know, we're down in a little valley and a little bit of mist and stuff out here in the fields, which I can't capture because, one, I can't get over there, and two, because there's too many trees that are blocking it. But in theory, not in theory, but in practicality, if I could take shots, it's really pretty nice, but it's just not going to happen this morning. So I'm going to capture a couple more shots here. All right, then we'll pack up, finish off the video in the Jeep. So beautiful spot. Great to find another covered bridge. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the history. I almost forgot. This bridge came into service in 1878. And it's still open to traffic. Now, why is that? It's said that it's the bridge with 9 lives, and the reason for that is 8 or 9 times they say it should have been condemned. All right, I guess it's had fires, had different things happen to it, but the most recent one, I guess, is that a dump truck trying to go through here fell through the floor of the bridge. But they've rebuilt it, repaired it, whatever, and kept it open, and which is a great thing. I mean, it's got an 8-ton load limit, and it's really a beautiful little place out here. And this is Clermont County, and my understanding is this is the last of roughly 50 covered bridges that used to be here in Clermont County. So it's a relic that needs to be cherished, like many of these old covered bridges, and it's good to see this still in use, and it's good to see that they take care of it, and hopefully that continues. So, all right, I'm going to take another image here, and then we'll pack up and we'll finish off, in a Jeep. All right, so we're headed back home. Nothing fantastic there, no great light, no great color or anything. It just was opportunity to get out like always and just kind of enjoy the the air and the scenery. Nice little old rail bridge right there, crosses the same creek that the Stone Lake covered bridge covered. But got my first chance there to use my new, to me at least, 12 to 40 F2.8 Pro 2, version 2 of this lens. And if you remember, I've said before, I had version 1. I got purchased version 1 back, I believe, in 2014. All right after it first come out, and it was a fantastic lens. Other than I've said, the focus clutch got me in trouble more than once, And so my views using this thing for the very first time, and basically the same. It doesn't feel any different, look any different. It's whether, I can't really tell you what the changes are because it's version 2, but certainly it operated just as my old one did, and it has the focus clutch, which I'm a little bit more in tune to now, and I recognize after it's failed me several times is something I've got to stay on top of. So all in all, I would say a successful first attempt to use it in an area that I'm not familiar with, but it turned out all right. It's a beautiful area here in Clermont County, but again, when you're surrounded by a lot of private property, it makes the job as a landscape photographer very difficult. It's just I try to be I try to always adhere to what people wish, and be respectful of private property, and sometimes it means you're limited in what you can shoot and limited in what you can do. And a case like that home that I showed you, the homeowner was actually on the porch watching me, making sure that I stayed in the road, didn't go on their property or anything like that. Now, they didn't say anything to me, they weren't mean or anything. Matter of fact, I waved and they waved back. But again, you got to be respectful of people's property, and I tried to do that there, and hopefully they saw that. I encourage everybody to do that. I think it's very important. Now, one thing I want to talk about here, just to end the video, is I was doing a lot of exposing to the right, basically around 7/10 to a full stop. All right, overexposed. Now, why was I doing that? Again, when you overexpose to the right, you're trying to grab as much detail as you can out of the shadows without overexposing, all right, anything else. So it's a tricky little balance. And there's a video that came out this last week by James Popsis. If you haven't seen it or you don't follow him, I'll put a link in the description. All right, so you can go to his channel. But he put out a video that I thought was really, really good. He put it in some very simple layman's terms, which, you know, it's kind of hard to describe, and unless you go out and try to do it, it really doesn't always make a lot of sense, because we always think that we should just expose, you know, right up and down the middle. A lot of times I do that. They want to change some of that now based on the video that James put out. All right, and basically what he talks about is he's always shooting for what he calls the bare maximum. All right, and what he means by that is I want to get the maximum amount of light as I possibly can, all right, onto my sensor, all right, without overexposing or out creating shutter blur, putting too much ISO into my image, you know, and putting a lot of noise into it. And he talks about it in great terms, and I encourage you to watch the video. And again, I'll put a link down below. And, you know, my wife, who isn't really much into photography, she loves James. You know, she likes his accent because he's from England. You know, and she's purchased one of his books. You know, she does like his work. You know, and she always says he never smiles. You know, and he doesn't. You know, but at least not very often, which he probably should smile more. So James, if you're seeing this video, smile more and make my wife happy. All right, but you know, it's he puts it in good terms, and it's something, if you pay attention to it, you can use. I was just doing some of it this morning, and whether or not it'll turn out, we'll see here in the images that I'll put in, and you know, here at the end, you know, at least, you know, put a couple of what I captured in so you can see. But my belief is it helped me, at least from what I've been trying to do. So take a look at it. You know, links in the description. You know, and hopefully it helps you. You know, and I'm going to continue to try to do the same thing. All right, so I'm going to end the video here. You know, say thanks for coming along, everybody. You know, appreciate each and every one of you. Man, I can't even speak this morning. I am drinking coffee. Okay, so I do have my coffee. All right, but you know, please remember to like, comment, subscribe. You know, share the video with others. You know, help grow the audience. You know, hopefully you enjoy this kind of content. Again, not a great morning. You know, it wasn't like we had the world's greatest epic light or anything else, but we did capture an image of a very historic bridge. It's still in use in Clermont County, Ohio, which is important in my mind. So thanks for coming along, everybody. Till we see you again, stay safe.